Did you know that you have a weekly chance to play an international master on ChessKid? Well, you do, and we're going to take a look at one lucky Chess Kid's game. Well, I don't know how lucky he was. He had to play an international master. But before we get to it, make sure you subscribe to the Chess Kid channel so you can see more of the brilliance of our young superstars. This chess lesson is brought to you by international master Shreyas Royal. Maybe he'll even be a grandmaster by the time this comes out. You know him as Crushmaster 2019, and if you want to know what is his weekly live chess hour on ChessKid, just go to chesskid.com/events and you'll be able to see our full events calendar. Okay, now what's the lesson that he brought us today? Well, he actually used a Fun Master Mike lesson, if I can toot my own horn for a second. It's called Keeping the Tension. Yeah, remember that lesson about how when two pieces aim at each other, stronger players know that sometimes neither player wants to capture? That's called tension, and I know it feels a little uncomfortable, but not for stronger players. Okay, here we go. Shreyas is white. He's playing one of the top chess kids, a nearly 2,000 rated kid, and of course he wants his rook to checkmate the king, so he plays h4. We have our tension. White pawn attacks black pawn attacks white pawn, but as you can very clearly see, there is no way that one of the strongest chess kids in all the land is going to take this pawn, because after pawn takes pawn, the bishop is pinned, and we have the very simple queen takes h6. It is mate in one, queen and helper mate is coming, and well, if that actually happened, this would be a short video, not a medium length video. So let's go back. After h4, instead, black decided to play the move f6 to support his center. Not really his center, to support his g-pawn, right? This pawn needs to help the g-pawn more than it needs to help this pawn. Now, if Shreyas had this game to play over again, he may have played the very crafty bishop h5. That seals the black king in a little bit, so the black king cannot go on a walk, but nonetheless, what he played was totally fine. He realizes that the g and the h files are going to open one day, one or the other, maybe both. He does not want his king on that side of the board. So because black can't really do much to white, he says, why not just walk my king all the way over to the queen side before I take any aggressive action? Now, black does the same thing. So white gives a check. Again, that move could have happened on the previous turn. King runs away, and now both kings are just running. They're just running to a nice, safe, warm bed. And now that the kings are reasonably safe, Shreyas decides to double rooks. And by the way, it should be noted that at no point in this entire king walk does black want to capture. If black ever captures, he would lose the bishop. And similarly, Shreyas does not want to capture, because one of two things would happen. If Shreyas ever captures, either black would take, and black would actually be able to take control of this open file, or it is possible that black would actually take the other way, which would give this poor knight, which we haven't talked about at all, the knight would actually open up a reasonable square to move to. So that would give black a couple of good options. It helps neither player, and so both pawns have simply been aiming at each other. Okay, now, there's just more rook action happening here. Now, Shreyas does get his bishop in the game. I actually like this move. If you don't put your bishop here right away, it may never get here, and Shreyas really wants to control g8, because by controlling g8, that means if the g file ever opens, then nothing will be able to challenge Shreyas' rook. There'll be no black rook that can land on g8. Okay, so black is just wasting time, which is fine. And now we're still preparing these rooks. In case you are wondering about the 50 move rule, no, the players did not get close to it. They played, I don't know, like 17 or 18 moves, okay? But it is true, there has not been a pawn move or a capture for quite a while, but nothing close to 50 moves. Okay, now, Shreyas sneaks his queen back. Again, he's putting his pieces in all the best squares before deciding when to capture. And black never wants to capture, because again, the bishop will just be lost. And even if the bishop's not lost right away, you're just helping both of those white rooks. Okay, the bishop goes back, and now black is, I don't know, maybe thinking about taking, and bishop's no longer in danger. Knight c1, Shreyas does not forget about his final piece. Black literally cannot do anything productive, so the patience here by the international master is a very good lesson. The knight comes around. Why not get the knight to the best possible square? Okay, so we had queen e7. The knight is now in his best possible square. And after bishop g7, the knight needs the queen square. So let's squeeze the queen in. This is a master class in keeping the tension. Bishop goes back, knight h5. And I think it's official that Shreyas has achieved all of the best possible squares. Now, maybe you can argue that his king should be here to support the weak a4 pawn, but I think we're both just making jokes at this point. I don't think a4 is a concern. Okay, black is, I don't know, almost in Zugzwang. Maybe black should just move the king. Instead, black played the move bishop to g7, And now it's actually this queen that's kind of binding together black's position, guarding a few important pieces. So Shreyas offers a trade, and after takes, now the problem is bishop here, and the rook is trapped. Oh no! Not a whole lot you can do about that. Now I guess you could try to move your bishop away, but then I think Shreyas will put his bishop on one of these squares, and it's actually really hard to hold things together, because if Shreyas takes the knight, then this pawn falls, and if f6 falls, this pawn's gonna fall. Black's position is just totally gonna crumble here, and there's not much that black can do about it. Okay, so instead, bishop e8 happened anyway. This is the actual game. Rook to e7, going after the bishop. Not much black can do. Black played here. Takes, and now, finally, everything falls apart, and you can see in this position, once Shreyas saves the knight, this pawn is super weak, Shreyas is up material, this knight is super strong, and even though black tried to hold out with bishop h6, then rook h1, pinning the bishop, threatening rook takes g5, and after rook over, then he played rook up. There's so much pressure on black's position, and actually the game ended after knight f6, because when the rook moves, the bishop is lost. Kind of funny that white ended up winning on the h file, not even the g file. That was the file that black was supposed to be better on. But I love this game. I love the patience. I love the idea of keeping the tension. And also this clever little king walk. Yeah, everything was better with the white king way out there on his own safe island. Thank you, Shreyas. Go to chesskid.com/events and see when Shreyas is playing next.